What's going on, guys? Welcome. Hope you guys all had a nice and enjoyable weekend. We're back to the charts here. Let's kind of go over a little trade that I personally took today on the live stream, and I want to show you guys exactly why I took it, what was my thought process, what was I looking for, so forth and so forth. So again, if you're not involved in the daily live trading webinars and you want to be a part of that, check the description box below. I've only got one spot left to fill at that lifetime member rate, and then it kind of goes to a monthly thing. But again, what we're looking at here, we're going to be looking at the 1 hour time frame. We're looking at Nvda. So today we finished essentially flat on the day, right? So we had that initial washout off the bell, and then things kind of like slowly drifted sideways, maybe a little higher depending on what you were looking at. But the overall NASDAQ 100 kind of, put in a low and then it kind of like drifted upwards, right? So definitely, it wasn't like the easiest day to trade. It wasn't like it was, a phenomenal day, right? It was a little bit slower, a little bit more choppy. But again, I want you guys to understand that, you want to stick with the trend. So if the trend is kind of going sideways to up, we want to be looking for the long setups. If it's going down or sideways, but majority, of the price actions moving lower, then you definitely want to be on the short side of those trades. So we can completely kind of ignore the long setups if the day's trending lower, and we can kind of trade and ignore the short setups if the day's kind of trending higher. So what I was initially looking at was the initial washout. Now I know we had some members that caught this initial washout through pre-market lows, which is a good price here, that 428.92. Into that pre-market session, as the market opened, we quickly dropped all the way down to 420. So, from 429 all the way down to 420 is a phenomenal move. Now, again, some of this action happened in the pre-market, but you get the drift, right? So the main level that we were looking at here was that 429.89. Now, as we started to get bought back up here, we came into this 5-day moving average and stopped right here at the 10-day moving average. Now, there was a little bit of a potential trade here at 7 o'clock PST over the price of 435 and in about a quarter, right? So I'm looking at a price of 435.37. You can see if we start to confirm the first hour's highs, again, those of you guys in Evolution Traders, I've been teaching you guys how to identify those moves if they're actually worth taking. So look at the first hour's highs, look at where the 10-day moving average is at, and then look at the 20-day moving average and look at where your potential is. So our potential was around 439. Our entry would have been a confirmation over 435. Again, understand your ATR, how much this can move. For me, I'm looking for $1.50, $2 on Nvda. Same thing goes with Tesla. And in the smaller names, I'll be looking for like anywhere between 60 cents to $1. Now, if we get into my trade here, when I was on the live stream, I was looking at this level here from 7 a.m. and this level at 8 a.m. We were kind of floating higher here. We understood that we have this 20 SMA here that was going to act as a little bit of supply. The last thing I alerted before I went out to get coffee was 439, right? So that's the level that we were looking at, was the 439 level. I even put it in the Discord. I said kind of sit on that 439 if we can confirm. Let's go ahead and take that long. So as we started to confirm the 439, for me personally, I went with the 437.50 calls. The reason why I went in the money is because if this was going to go, I wanted to make money faster and I wanted to make more money. I understood that, it's not the best and most ideal price action. However, if we can kind of get some things going, potentially I can make a little bit of money on a pop if I'm in the money versus out the money, and the contracts are only about $150 difference per piece. So with that being said, you can see what happens here at the 9 a.m. hour. We get the confirmation over 39. And within that 1 hour, we quickly shoot up to a price of 442.50. So in this particular case, if I'm getting in over 439, I'm looking for that $1.50, and then I'm going to sell half size, and then I'm going to get out of my entire position. That's exactly what I did. I didn't catch the whole $2.50 move. Again, when you're playing these contracts, you don't really need it to happen that way. You don't really need to catch the whole move. You just need to catch a little piece of that pie. Now, I took 10 contracts and they moved around $68, $72, give or take, right? Around $70, $74, $75 a piece. Now, in that short of time, within an hour's time, when you can make $50 a contract or even 40 or 30, right? After that, if you can identify those moves and you can identify them day in and day out, and you can be comfortable with taking profits at $30 in the money, or $50 a contract, or $60 or $70 in my particular case, or $100 even, sometimes these contracts jump $100, $150 a piece. But what I'm saying is that once you can identify that, it's all about position sizing. So then you just size up when you want to make more money. It's not necessarily about trying to catch the more bigger move or having this thing go all day. I understood that we had, supply zone sitting here at around 455. So, or excuse me, 445. So like what I was alerting in the Discord, if we can confirm, which we did, and I'll pull up the 5-minute time frame here. So I'm going to what I'm going to go ahead and do is, this was a level, right? This was the pivot that I was looking for. Why? It's over the 20 SMA and it's confirming on a new candle. I love those type of setups. I look for these on a day in and day out basis, hourly chart setups with room to run. So if we kind of look at when we first broke this level here, my trade only lasted about 10 minutes. Okay. So if you kind of look at that, look at the level, here's a high, here's a high, here's a high where we've been rejected. Over that is over 5 minute supply, and your next supply zone is around 441.76. So that's why I'm saying I only took about $1.25 off these contracts, because as soon as we started to break through here at 9:15 is when I went long. Now your stop loss could be a close below the 5, 10, or 20-day moving average, or you can use a 1-bar stop system. With that being said, you can see the first initial push on the 5 minutes after entry is 441.10, and then it pushes all the way up into 442.30s. So from an entry price of around 439 to 441, even 442 is a hell of a move. You're talking about almost $2-3 on the overall potential move. So as we started to approach into, right, again, I never want to anticipate that this is going to just continue to fly. But what I do want to focus on is that once we do get into the trade, make sure you know where your stops are at. And then you want to be selling for profits as those contracts start to increase in value into the next area of supply. So with that being said, I was able to sell the 7 contracts and I made $780 on the 437 calls. That was a really, really good trade for me. And again, those type of trades can essentially put you one and done for the day, meaning you don't really need to look for any other trades after that. We did have a very, very beautiful setup here after the initial washout on Nvda. It reclaims its 20-day moving average at 6:45 in the morning and then confirms at 6:50. This was a beautiful trade here because it went from a price of 431 all the way up to around 435.50 right out of the gates. And I know we had a trader this morning snag that little gain there. Now, if you would have taken that trade, you probably wouldn't necessarily have been looking for this trade here, just due to the fact that you were already profitable and there's no real reason to kind of lose money when you're already profitable on the day. So I just kind of wanted to outline that level. I kind of wanted to go over, what exactly I was looking at and kind of give you guys an idea into my thought process and into my head. If you guys would like to trade with me, you want to get access to the courses, you want to get access to the community so you can trade with other traders. You want to get access to the live webinars. You want to get access to the intraday technicals and have access to one-on-one mentorship. There's one spot left available at evolutiontraders.com. That link is down in the description box below. Go ahead and take advantage of that. It's first come, first serve, and I'll see all of you guys on the next video.